Hello and welcome to Roadrunner Predictions. Today I'm going to go over a recap of yesterday real quick just because I do call myself out when I lose, so I think it's only fair I do when I win. I went 4-0 in basketball yesterday and 2-0 in XFL, and it's the first time that I've done over 4 games and went 100%. So 6-0 for the day, I'll take that. And a lot of it was against some pretty good teams and ranked teams against unranked teams, so I'll take it. Indiana +1, they got the cover. Butler heading into CU, and CU is 5.5. Looked like it was a hard take, but we had CU, and they dominated that game. Didn't even have to sweat most of these. Maryland, number 7, head to Ohio State, and Ohio State was favored and unranked at 2.5, or I think they're ranked 25th, so that doesn't really count. But they were able to control that in fashion. Then we had Minnesota -4 going into a struggling Northwestern team who just couldn't produce the numbers, and that was a pretty easy win. St. Louis Battlehawks -10, the home favorite. The home crowd proved to be exactly the way we thought it would be. Matt McGloin couldn't get anything going for the New York Guardians offense, and it just continued from last game over. And then the LA Wildcats, that was the most surprising factor of them all. I can't believe they turned it on that good and just dominated what was supposedly the best team in the XFL, DC Defenders, even though we had them at number 2. I've been saying it for most of the time. I know it's not over yet. I'm not getting cocky. I think the best team is Houston Roughnecks. Let's go ahead and get into today's basketball games. It's 2/24/2020. I have 3 games for you in college. I'll probably produce some NBA games out at my lunch break if I'm able to get time to write up the numbers and get it on my break. Louisville is heading to Florida State. Previous matchup, they lost 78-65. The total points was 143 between the two combined that was scored. Both teams shot a little bit, not quite what you would expect in the game. Louisville struggled to produce their own common numbers, but weren't too far off to where Florida State produced a higher yield by superior margin from beyond the arc. So we like the under. I think you should probably get on this one sooner than later because this one's probably going to change probably for the worse. It's at 140.5 right now, and that's where we took it at. So we're on the under for Louisville versus Florida State game. I could not see taking the 2.5 for Florida State. It's just not enough edge there, but it is close. They have this about right on the money, guys. I think Florida State, if I had to pick between the two, I'd take the 2.5 Florida State, but it's by thin margin, guys. This one might come down sooner. The only thing that would suck is if it goes into overtime and it hits that over. I could see that. That'd suck. I sure hope not. But Louisville really struggled to put up points on this last matchup in the paint, and to where Florida State dominated on both sides of the basketball, well above their average. So I don't think Florida State's going to play as hard as put up the numbers that they did last time, but I think it'll be enough to beat Louisville. But I like the under. Let's go into game 2. I got these little tabs too, so I can switch. Look at that, boom. Oklahoma State Cowboys. So we're heading to Kansas Jayhawks. They're number 1 now. They dethroned Baylor. The Baylor Bears, Battlestar beats Galactica kind of situation. I wonder if we were on that game. We had Kansas win that game. Yes, we did. We'll take it. It's just hard to take these teams that are kind of mediocre going to these big programs, but believe it or not, there is value on Oklahoma State, guys. They're getting 15. The last previous loss was by 15, but now they're playing at Kansas. Oklahoma State shot 11% from beyond the arc. That's horrendous. That's 20% less than what they normally do. If they even that number out, it's an easy cover. But now they're playing in a bad atmosphere. And I say bad because it's bad for them. It sucks when you have to play on an elevated Kansas Jayhawks team at their house after coming off of a great win. Oh, it's sometimes sucks because I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas wins this by 20, but believe it or not, there is some upside to taking Oklahoma State. We have them winning by 12, Kansas, and so that gives you 3 points. So we'll go ahead and take Oklahoma State Cowboys. Let's go ahead and go into our final game of the day for college basketball. Believe it or not, I'm taking Nebraska Cornhuskers. They're going to play at Illinois Fighting Illinois. They're getting 13.5 points. I think that should be enough to cover. I think this is a standard control game for Illinois, but I think they might walk away with the win with plus 10. So we're getting 3.5 points here in my theory. And a lot of the consensus seems to be on Illinois right now, but it's by 60%. It's still really early, guys. It's almost 5 o'clock now. So by the time this game plays out, or to game time, I think it might even out a bit. I'm looking at maybe 45-55 consensus here. I think some people start to lean on Nebraska. They're pretty similar on paper, and that's why I'm taking them going in on the road. Nebraska shoots 41% in field goal to 32 for threes, and Illinois is 44 in paint and beyond the arc 31. They just have not been able to get the threes working for them, and that goes to show that that's kind of the separating in these closer bouts. I know their scores for the year are different, 7-19 to 17-9, but really, I mean, Nebraska's just not there. They're team building, and if you got this points to cover in a lot of games, it's 13.5. And in doing so, we think that there's definitely value on Nebraska Cornhuskers getting 13.5. Well, thanks for chiming in with the Roadrunner. I should have some NBA picks up before the end of the day. Thank you for watching.